in the soil. Oh, what does that mean? And we are also draining the water. And if you're in sub-Saharan Africa, including nations like Nigeria, you better understand what I'm talking about now. Because in those places, many people go to get water in streams, in rivers, all right? I don't even want to talk about the failures of governments that led to all of that, but that's a different side. But these people are strong, and they try to, make the best of their terrible situations. They have boreholes, right, where they get water out of the ground. So I said, they're going to try to outlaw those things. But watch. So where did they go to do the World Water Day? Abuja. Abuja of Nigeria. And listen. So here's a plan to control water supply. So when they talk fossil fuel, don't think of petroleum. It's not only that. It's not only that. It includes your water. Watch. So he described water as what is vital to every aspect of human survival, well-being, economic development, and prosperity of every nation. And everybody will clap for that because that is true. Guterres, however, lamented that water was being poisoned by pollution and drained by vampiric overuse, with water demand expected to exceed supply by 40% by decade's end. Really? So he went on to explain that this year's World Water Day reminds us of our individual and collective roles to protect and sustainably use and manage humanity's lifeblood. Life. Fuel. He has called it fuel. He's told you in few words that is fuel. If you're trying to find is water fuel, you would generally say no. All right? But not in the minds of the globalists who want to control it. Why do they want to control it? Because they don't want you to have it. They want to sell it to you. They want to tell you, you didn't get it. Watch this. Conference, which kicks off today. This is his speech. What I'm giving you is coming out of his speech. It's a critical moment for national governments, local and regional authorities, businesses, scientists, youth, civil society, organizations, and communities to join forces and co-design. They're trying to tell you, you're going to be a part of the plan. No, you've never been, and you never will. They already have the plan. So, to co-design and invest in solutions to achieve clean water and sanitation for all. Meanwhile, governments, businesses, and investors must take much bolder actions to limit temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, with the G20 leading the way. We must break, listen to this, we must break our addiction to fossil fuels. I thought we were talking about water. I told you. Of chemistry, he said water is not included because he doesn't know how to listen between the lines. addiction to fossil fuels and embrace renewable energy while supporting developing countries every step of the way. Really? Really? Hate free speech. They hate it. They hate it because, in fact, to them, free speech is our Magna Carta, okay, which to them has expired and is revocable. Well, so we're witnessing from different sides a diabolical convergence of business, religion. Revelation chapter 13. Let's read. Revelation chapter 13 from verse 1 into verse 2. Let's read. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having seven heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Think about it. Looks like a leopard, and his feet as the feet of a bear, his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And who gave him power? He says the dragon gave him his power. You want to know who the dragon is? The previous chapter, he introduced to us the dragon. Chapter 12, verse 9. The great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Look at it. It doesn't say which deceiveth your uncle. No, it's not just one person, another person over here. It deceives the whole world. We're talking about global deception. And his angels are cast out with him. That's the dragon. This is the dragon. He's called the devil and Satan, the deceiver. That's the one that gave the beast his power, his seat of authority. This convergence of business, you're hearing private, public partnership, okay? And while they're doing private, public partnership, they have religion with it. But the religious part of it is first being hidden. What are they doing? They are following Albert Pike's recommendations. Albert Pike, who was the grand commander, or like you would call a pope of the Freemasons. And how he stated that Freemasonry is a religion. While many try to say it's not, but this is their grand commander. This is their. He said that Freemasonry is a religion. And I read his speech to you, when we were dealing with his subject. They would use the nihilists, all right? Get the nihilists and the atheists. They would use them. But they, in their religion, hate those two groups. But they're going to, he says, unleash them on the Christians. All this you're seeing today, they're pushing LGBT, they're pushing a lot of hedonistic ideas, pushing them through schools, those godless things that they do. It's not because they will come up with their own God. As Albert Pike said, that finally Lucifer will be unveiled to the world as the true God. How could Lucifer be God? He says Satanism is heresy. So he says Satanism is heresy. Don't call Lucifer Satan. That's what he says. So in Freemasonry, you're not supposed to call Lucifer Satan. So they say that the Christians are the ones that are giving Lucifer a bad name. They are deceived. The deceiver that we read of in the Bible, the deceiver has deceived them. On Agenda 2030. I talked to you about Agenda 2030 before when I explained some things about Agenda 21. I remember talking about Habitat 1 and so on. So let's watch this. Agenda 20.
One of the foremost ways by which people foster their ideology in the society today is through a constructive agenda that is often evident in their mode of operations. In Britannica Encyclopedia, an agenda is described as a plan or goal that guides someone's behavior and that is often kept secret. The key word, secret. More often than none, it presupposes that the implementation of an agenda is usually covert and subtly introduced until it can no longer be delineated. With the news of COVID breaking in 2020, it became evident that nations of the world had been subserviently operating within the confines of an agenda fostered by groups brandished as global organizations. While the world woke up to the propaganda of a virus, it was indeed an integral part of an ominous agenda to centralize the governing structure of our world. They themed it Agenda 2030.
It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century.
They had this Agenda 2030, a plan for a new world order to come into place by the year 2030.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. when we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Pause there. Pause. Pause. No. I just wanted to see if you can move back a little. I want what David, good. Look at what David Rockefeller said. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order. Sometime last year, we were having a program here, this Your Love World specials. A day or two before, Biden had announced officially the new world order. And then we said, no, we have canceled that. They're not going to have it. And they haven't had it. In fact, the world has not been more polarized than it has been in the last following months since that announcement. I told you we're going to get into a real polarization of the world. They're seeing that right now. They're going through it right now. But there's more. Look at what that guy stated. That's David Rockefeller. They just need the right major crisis. They thrive in crisis. And this crisis must be manufactured. They don't wait for it. It's not like they're waiting and hoping that there'll be some crisis. No. It has been created. George H.W. Bush, that's the Bush Sr., said what we need is a new world order, all right? Governed by not the law of the jungle, but by who? Who makes the laws?
They are using this crisis, this created crisis, to slowly but surely collapse the world economy and bring in this new world order. And they're not hiding it anymore. They're throwing it right in our faces, right here. The United Nations New World Order Project is a global, high-level initiative founded in 2008 and led by Jamie Ilian and Ndaba Mandela to advance a new economic paradigm.
Pause there. Another smoke screen. Gaslighting. No, keep it up. They said, the New World Order Project is a global high-level initiative founded in 2008 and led by Jamie Ilian and Ndaba Mandela. This is not true. It's just because they added the word project. But this has been going on. In fact, you just heard Bush. And he was not the first. It's been going on. What are they trying to do? They're trying to give you names of, so we look like we're all doing it together, especially with the mentioning of Mandela, Ndaba Mandela. So it's like, it's all of us, Africans, Asians, everybody together. But not true. So that's another misleading line. But these are masters of the art of deception. Go on.
And a new world order for humankind, which achieves the UN's global goals for sustainable development by 2030 and the happiness, well-being, and freedom of all life on Earth by 2050. You see this? Lies right there, straight up. The Agenda 2030 might have been set in 2008, but they've had this going on they've had this planned out for many decades, folks. They've been refining it. Agenda 21 Now it's become Agenda 2030.
So, God's people, and indeed everyone, must become avidly conscious of the ongoing schemes to ensure that Agenda 2030 is consummately accomplished, especially due to the caliber of people that have stealthily and explicitly proclaimed their support for the agenda.
I was reviewing some statements made by Prince Charles at the World Economic Forum in Davos, in which he was literally calling for a new system for this world, a new order, with the hope that it will become effective, fully effective, by 2030.
In order to secure our future and to prosper, we need to evolve our economic model. Having been engaged in these issues since, I suppose, 1968, when I made my first speech on the environment, and having talked to countless experts across the globe over those decades, I've come to realize that it is not a lack of capital that is holding us back, but rather the way in which we deploy it. Therefore, to move forward, we need nothing short of a paradigm shift, one that inspires action at revolutionary levels and pace.
And he's not the only one speculating that date. There are others like him speculating that by that date, they should have a fully functional one world economy or one world government, as it were.
Building back better, this pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts.
Now we have to accelerate because we are living the first consequences of basically climate disorders. It's time to rush, and President Biden is 100% right to do so.
Last week, I shared the outlines of my plan to build back better.
It's about building this country back better.
As Europeans, we increased our targets for 2030 and 2050 a few months ago. We need India and China to be with us. With Chancellor Merkel, we had a discussion with President Xi.
The Great Reset.
And I think we felt the commitments of President Xi on climate to work with the US and with Europe. First, to accelerate his target of 2030.
Our strongest beliefs are challenged by the rise of a yet unknown new world order.
A new world order that China has to be part of the process of creating it.
Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way. Now is the time to join together through constant cooperation and strong institutions and shared sacrifice and a global commitment to progress to meet the challenges of the 21st century.
Build it back better.
We must build back better.
Build back better.
To build back better.
To build back better.
Build back better.
Build back better.
While they have spoken openly about effectively installing a new system of government for the world by 2030, what is more curious is their strategic quest for that one leader who will be the face of the purported government.
There's a move by these satanic powers to synergize, bring themselves together, put their efforts together, with the hope of installing a leader. They need a leader. That's something they don't have right now. And they realize that the way that they can come together forcefully and make the kind of impact that they want to make is to have one leader. And they're working at it.
People today are looking for someone with answers. You know, I like to go back to the time in Weimar Germany when the hyperinflation took place, and they were looking for someone to come and to bring some order from the chaos, and that's how they ended up with Adolf Hitler.
That's right.
And it's the same thing in our world today. I think as we see more economic chaos and nations in chaos, people are going to be looking for a savior and a deliverer.
And they need one leader, and they don't want the divisions of politics, economy, and religion.
Because now, progressively, a lot of people would like to see there are two orders in this world. This is a huge mistake, even for both the US and China. We need a single global order.
And now, they're at a critical point. And I can tell you that by reading the stars, by reading the alignment of the stars, because a lot of these are stargazers, that's what they do. They specialize in the horoscope. And they look at those things and read the alignment, the planetary alignment, and they come to the same conclusions in the earth and work out these details and what they really want to do. And they are setting a date that they believe is consistent with the galaxy. And as far as they're concerned, the earth will experience some extraordinary things by the year 2025. And by the year 2030, they believe they should have fully installed a one-world government.
The Secretary General and Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 Agenda.
While it is important that the alarm bells are going off in this season about Agenda 2030, it is imperative to point out that just like the scripture says in Habakkuk 2 verse 2, NIV, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. These evil cohorts, who project themselves as key leaders of global organizations like the United Nations and World Economic Forum, also understand this principle and have publicly proclaimed 2030 as the year that their vision for the world must come to fruition.
And no wonder these guys who are the perpetrators of the COVID-19 have a plan for 2030. Because Satan can also read, but he doesn't believe. So he always thinks he can find a way out. So planning with those who follow him on what they're going to do by 2030. So you look at the word and you have more than enough evidence how short the time is for us to do all the things we got to do. And it will let you understand why these guys, they say 2030 is the year that they must have everybody vaccinated and everybody chipped.
Their game plan for COVID-19. Control fully the media and political parties in all 193 UN nations. Release a lab-produced virus that's slightly more deadly than flu. Bombard the world with 24/7 COVID propaganda. Have the whole world in masks. Develop AI algorithms that can identify masked people. Roll out the Agenda 2030. Conflate COVID with Agenda 2030 as an opportunity to reset the world.
Immunization Agenda 2030 impact goal indicators and targets lays out that by 2030 there will be 500 new vaccines introduced. And under the Immunization Agenda 2030, which is part of One Health, no man, woman, or child will have an exemption. Well, of course, the elite will have an exemption because they wouldn't do this to their bodies. But you and I, those of us who survive to that point, will be forcibly jabbed. No one left behind is how they put it.
Before they're able to do those things, we'll be out of here. But we're not living like we're escaping from those things. What he has told us is to use his name. He told us that his name has power. He told us to cast out devils. He told us we have to insist such things don't happen. And since Jesus gave us power, and he says, over all the power of the enemy, says, I give you authority over all the power of the enemy, we must exercise it.
Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished, but the posterity of the righteous will be delivered. Proverbs 11 verse 21.
Now, you heard them build back better, build back better. I told you about it before. What are they building back better? It's this. See the pyramid, the unfinished pyramid. When it is completed, it's a the eye under the supposedly all-seeing eye of Lucifer, the devil. They don't call him a devil, remember? They call him Lucifer, son of the morning. So, why are they building back better? What do they mean? Genesis chapter 11, from verse 4.